Picture this: two football empires, separated by just 30 meters, one worth billions in Qatari money, global superstars, and unlimited ambition. The other, a club that was literally dead for 46 years, giving away free tickets just to fill seats. But now, everything has changed. In Western Paris, a single street divides two worlds of football. On one side stands the Parc des Princes, home to PSG's global superstars and endless wealth. On the other side, a club reborn from the ashes is about to create the most shocking upset in football geography. They've positioned themselves so close to PSG that you could literally throw a ball from one stadium to the other. This isn't just a stadium move, this is a declaration of war. Paris FC, backed by Europe's richest family, has just walked into PSG's neighborhood and said, "We're not going anywhere." The result? The closest top-flight derby anywhere in world football. Today, we're uncovering how a forgotten club became PSG's worst nightmare by simply moving next door. To understand this rivalry, we need to go back to 1969 when Paris FC was born from necessity. The French capital, the most important city in France, had no major football team. While cities like Marseille and Saint-Étienne dominated French football, Paris was a football wasteland that embarrassed the entire nation. The French Football Federation launched a campaign, yes, to a great football club in Paris. They asked the public to choose a name. Out of 60,000 responses, Paris Football Club won. Paris FC was officially created in 1969, but their destiny was about to take a dramatic turn. In 1970, seeking strength and stability, Paris FC merged with local team Stade Saint-Germain to form Paris Saint-Germain. For 2 years, these clubs were one entity, sharing players, sharing dreams, sharing everything. But then came the split that changed French football forever. The Paris City Council despised the Saint-Germain part of the name. It represented a suburb, not the capital. They offered 850,000 francs to save the struggling club, but only if they became purely Paris Football Club. Club president Guy Crescent supported the change. Henri Petrel opposed it. The result? On June 1st, 1972, they divorced. Crescent kept the Paris FC name, stayed in Division 1, and retained all the professional players. Petrel kept the Paris Saint-Germain name, but was relegated to Division 3 as punishment. Here's the cruel irony. Within 4 years, PSG had clawed their way back to the top division, while Paris FC were relegated to Division 2. PSG claimed the Parc des Princes, Paris FC's own stadium, and kicked their former partners out into exile. For 46 years, Paris FC wandered through lower divisions, playing in rundown venues while PSG became a global superpower. They struggled through stadium fires, financial crises, and multiple identity changes, but they never disappeared completely. Then came the decision that changed everything: the move to Stade Sébastien Charléty in 2007, and now, their bold relocation to Stade Jean Bouin. This isn't just a comeback, it's revenge served cold. Let's talk about Paris FC's journey through stadiums, because this story is about more than just changing addresses, it's about changing destiny. After being exiled from the Parc des Princes, Paris FC spent decades at various venues before settling at Stade Sébastien Charléty in 2007. Built in 1938 and renovated in 1994, Charléty was designed for athletics, not football. The massive running track created a canyon between fans and players. The problems were impossible to ignore. You needed binoculars to see if that was a goal or a corner kick. The atmosphere died in the empty space. Players felt isolated. Even Jurgen Klopp visited and called it impossible to create proper atmosphere, saying, "It has been a long time since I watched a game from that far away." So, Paris FC made their boldest decision yet, a move to Stade Jean Bouin. But this wasn't just any move. This required a complex rental agreement with Stade Français Paris, the rugby club that calls Jean Bouin home. The deal costs Paris FC €4 million annually through 2029. They share the venue with rugby, requiring constant field conversions and precise scheduling. Between matches, crews completely transform the stadium's branding and appearance depending on which team plays. It's a logistical nightmare that somehow works. But Stade Jean-Bouin itself, this place is spectacular. Rebuilt in 2013 by architect Rudy Ricciotti for 110 million euros, it features 3,600 unique concrete panels, creating an incredible honeycomb exterior that's won major design awards. The lattice design isn't just beautiful, it's functional. It cuts wind load by 40% and creates shifting light patterns throughout the day. At night, advanced lighting turns the entire structure into a glowing sculpture. Inside, 20,000 seats are positioned at a steep 34-degree angle, dramatically closer to the action than most stadiums. Each seat offers 80 centimeters of depth, luxury stadium quality. The concrete lattice works as a sound amplifier, trapping crowd noise inside while blocking outside disturbance. The location is perfect warfare positioning. They've moved to Paris's 16th arrondissement, the second wealthiest area, where property costs 12,000 euros per square meter. This district hosts 38 embassies and represents absolute prestige. 2 metro lines, 4 bus routes, 374 restaurants, and 117 cafes within walking distance. Every detail screams elite status. But here's the ultimate power move. They're exactly 30 meters from PSG's Parc des Princes. ESPN confirmed this makes them the closest rivals in world professional football. When both teams play at home, fans literally stand on opposite sides of the same street. Now, let's talk about the ownership revolution that made this audacious move possible. Because Paris FC didn't just change owners, they acquired a financial superpower. The ownership structure tells the whole story. Bernard Arnault's family holding company Agache owns 55%, Red Bull controls 15%, while original owner Pierre Ferracci retains 30% until 2027. This three-way partnership blends old money luxury, sports marketing genius, and institutional memory. Meet Bernard Arnault, Europe's richest man worth $182 billion. He controls LVMH, the luxury empire behind Louis Vuitton, Dior, Moet, and Chandon, and Tag Heuer. When Arnault decides to enter football, it's not just investment, it's conquest. Red Bull brings something equally valuable: sports expertise. They've transformed clubs like RB Leipzig from nowhere to Champions League contenders. They just hired Jurgen Klopp as global head of soccer. When Red Bull partners with anyone, success follows. The financial impact is staggering. Paris FC's budget exploded from 7 million euros in League 2 to potentially 200 million euros in League 1. That's not growth, that's complete transformation. The end of free match tickets signals their departure from amateur status forever. But this isn't just about spending money. Antoine Arnault, Bernard's son leading this project, has a clear strategic vision: build France's best youth academy and challenge PSG through sustainable excellence, not just checkbook dominance. The symbolism is perfect. PSG represents Qatari state wealth and instant global stardom. Paris FC represents French luxury craftsmanship and earned success. It's oil money versus old money, foreign investment versus local pride. Their ultimate goal? Compete directly with PSG for Paris supremacy, Champions League qualification, and the hearts of French football fans. For the first time in decades, PSG faces real local competition. So what happens when you position two ambitious football clubs just 30 meters apart? You create football's most explosive situation. The PSG-Paris FC rivalry runs deeper than geography. It's rooted in their shared DNA. These clubs were literally the same entity for 2 years before that bitter 1972 split. Now they're neighbors again, but everything has changed. The logistical challenges are unprecedented. When both teams play at home on the same weekend, kickoffs must be separated by at least 4 hours. Paris police created a special coordination unit just to manage this unique scenario. Avenue du Général Sorel becomes the front line of Parisian football. But there's controversy brewing. PSG fans see this as a territorial invasion, while Paris FC supporters claim they're simply taking back their place in the capital. The tension is unavoidable and explosive. For PSG, the pressure is immense. They can't afford to look weak with billionaire-backed neighbors literally watching from across the street. Every poor performance becomes magnified when your rivals are so close they can see your players leaving the stadium. For Paris FC, the challenge is proving they belong at this level while playing in PSG's shadow. The world will judge whether they can handle the intensity of top-flight football just meters from France's biggest club. The 2025-26 season will mark the first time since 1979 that Paris has two top-flight clubs, the first true Paris derby in over 4 decades, and the closest rivalry in world football. And then there's the ultimate twist. PSG might leave the Parc des Princes altogether due to a long-running ownership dispute with the Paris City Council. The club wants to buy the stadium, but the city refuses to sell. If PSG walks away, the unthinkable could happen. Paris FC would become the only major club actually playing in central Paris. The irony would be complete. Whether Paris FC can truly challenge PSG's dominance remains to be seen. But they've already won the psychological battle, because sometimes, in football, the boldest move is simply showing up next door. What do you think? Can Paris FC's billionaire backing and prime location challenge PSG's empire? Or is this just expensive theater? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more football stories. Thanks for watching.